Okay, here's a bit more of a fun video. Fun as in the schadenfreude sense. So, the Proud Boys are on trial for seditious conspiracy, and because they feel that they were just following what Donald Trump wanted them to do, which they were, they decided that Trump should testify. And they want to subpoena Trump, and they want the federal government to help them subpoena Trump because of the Secret Service. And now, even if they do serve Trump with a subpoena, there's no way in hell he's testifying. I mean, whenever there is a trial where he has to testify, he pleads the fifth, which is the thing to do. I mean, you don't want to incriminate yourself, and Trump isn't as big of an idiot as he tries to portray. So no, he's not going to testify. Even if they successfully subpoena him, he's just going to come in and plead the fifth. Because there is, on no planet, can the Proud Boys say that he cares about his supporters. I mean, if you honestly still think he cares about his supporters at this point, you are so far gone. He doesn't give a shit about his supporters. He mocks them. He even said, "I love the poorly educated." He said that because he knows damn well that those are the people who are supporting him. He is mocking his supporters. So there is no way he wouldn't testify against himself anyway. He wouldn't go on trial and say, yeah, go lenient on these patriots because they were just doing what I told them. No mob boss does that. Trump isn't going to do that. So that's number one. Number two, even if he was willing to go to bat for the Proud Boys, which he won't. But even if he was, let's pretend for a moment that he actually does give a crap about the Proud Boys and not using them as tools. Even so, it has never been. Just look at all the Nuremberg trials. Saying as a defense, I was just following orders, is not a defense. Because you could just not follow them. I mean, there was, what would Trump do if the Proud Boys didn't riot? Or if nobody went to his rally and then went to riot on January 6th. There is literally nothing he could do except pout, which he's really good at. So, even if they use the "I was just following orders" defense, that's not a defense. Because you could just not follow orders. So, I don't see how this is supposed to be the help that they think it is. Now, I was watching a video from Glenn Kirshner, who's a former federal prosecutor, and he did suggest that maybe they're doing this so they could declare a mistrial because their rights were not properly seen through, because they have a Sixth Amendment right to compel witnesses on their behalf. Unfortunately, Trump has a Fifth Amendment right to not incriminate himself. So those two amendments those rights go at loggerheads. And chances are they're probably going to side with Trump. So, because again, we were just following orders thing is not very compelling, because I mean, even if you were in a job where you were compelled, you can just quit. And now this is a situation where there was no consequence if they did not follow through with what Trump wanted them to do. There was literally no consequence to them. So that makes the defense of we were just following orders even less compelling, because there's no consequence for if they didn't. They wouldn't go to jail, which they actually will be now because they did follow orders. They wouldn't go to jail. They wouldn't die. Nothing bad would happen to them. The only thing is that people probably would have never heard of them. Wouldn't have heard of them, wouldn't have heard of the Oath Keepers. Well, actually, Proud Boys they would have, because he mentioned them at one of his debates with Biden. So they would have been heard of, but not in this context. So Proud Boys, Oath Keepers, all those groups, Oath Keepers are already serving time for seditious conspiracy. Well, actually, let me see. Proud Boy members are the third group to stand trial for seditious conspiracy over the riot, after several members of the right-wing Oath Keeper groups were found guilty of the charge in November and January. So they don't say anything about whether they've been sentenced. I assume they have been, because sentencing normally doesn't last much longer than the end of the trial. So I'm assuming they're serving their sentences already, but so, okay, all this crap is happening to you because you followed orders, and nothing would have happened to you if you didn't. So, unlike some areas like, being a member of the Nazi Party, where the Nazis ran everything, and if you didn't do what you were told, basically you couldn't live. Even then, though, those I was just following orders defenses didn't stick. So it's definitely not going to stick here, even if Trump were to say, yes, it was all my idea. So, yeah, the Proud Boys not getting out of this at all. Because, yes, Trump instigated it, but that doesn't mean you guys didn't follow through. I mean, you have a will of your own. He didn't put a gun to your heads and force you to do this. You willingly did this. So, yeah. Donald Trump is not going to honor the subpoena, and if he does, it'll just be to plead the fifth constantly. And regardless, even if he were to testify, it's not the slam dunk that the Proud Boys think it is. So anyway, I thought that was a fun little wrinkle to the January 6th story, even though I do feel sorry for how diluted the Proud Boys are, because to even consider that Trump would want to save them at all, it's just, like I said, delusional, because there is absolutely nothing about this man who screams, what's the word I'm looking for? Credibility. He's not he's not honorable. That's the word I'm looking for. He's not honorable. He's not going to stick his neck out for his supporters. Hell, he doesn't stick his head out for his own family. But that's okay. They don't stick their heads out for him either. But still, if this does not snap these people out of it and make them realize that Trump was just using them, I honestly don't know what else will get them to realize that he sucks. He seriously sucks. Anyway, I will leave it there, and I will probably see you tomorrow.